Twice as Good with Hadley and Delaney is brought to you by Mila. Immer besser, forever better. Mila. And by Cuties. Cute you can eat. Cuties. And by Kitchen Works. Wherever we go, that's where the party's at. Kitchen Works.
As always, don't forget the first 4 rules of kids cooking. 1. Wash your hands. 2. Ask an adult for help, especially with hot items, sharp utensils, and appliances. 3. Don't be afraid to try new ingredients, especially if they are green. And 4. Have fun. These 4 rules make cooking twice as healthy and twice as good. And I'm Hadley, and this is Twice as Good. Today we've traveled all the way up the East Coast to the state of Maine. Maine is a pretty amazing place. One thing you can't help but notice when you get to Maine is the interesting and unusual names for many of the towns and geographical locations. West Quoddy Head, which is the easternmost point of the continental United States, is located on Passamaquoddy Bay, which is an inlet of the larger Bay of Fundy. The Passamaquoddy were just one of the many indigenous Algonquian people whose tribes that populated the area we now know as Maine, and whose names remain behind to serve as reminders of the country's earliest inhabitants. You might not know it, but Maine has a truly staggering amount of coastline. In fact, at 3,478 miles, it's actually got slightly more seafront than California. So as you can imagine, the fishing and lobstering are central to the state's economy. With so much coastline, Maine has more than 60 lighthouses along its shores. We'll be starting today at Fort Williams Park in Cape Elizabeth, Maine. And behind us is the iconic Portland Headlight. The Portland Headlight is the oldest lighthouse in Maine. The lighthouse sits on a head of land at the entrance of the primary shipping channel into the Portland Harbor. It was constructed at the direction of George Washington. The original whale oil lamps used in the Portland Headlight were first lit in 1791. Before the invention of radar and GPS, ships used a complicated system of maps and mathematics to navigate their courses. Lighthouses were tremendously important to navigation because they served as landmarks that helped ship crews sail safely, especially at night or when the weather was stormy. In fact, the original meaning of the word landmark was something either natural or man-made that sailors used to identify where they were, which is especially important in a place like Maine, since it is such a rugged and uneven coastline. Thanks to Maine's unusual geography and climate, the fertile land and miles of coastline provide us with some of our favorite foods, including the Maine event, Maine lobster, as well as Maine blueberries and potatoes. The Maine lobster, also known as the American lobster, is native to the Atlantic Ocean and can be found as far north as Labrador all the way down to New Jersey and Cape Hatteras in North Carolina. Although most mature Maine lobsters measure anywhere from 8 to 24 inches and weigh from 1 to 9 pounds, the biggest ones have been recorded at a length of 25 inches and a top weight of almost 45 pounds. As crustaceans, lobsters have exoskeletons, which means the structural support for their bodies is on the outside rather than the inside. As lobsters mature, they outgrow their shells and have to shed them. This process is known as molting. A new shell that's been growing underneath the old one eventually hardens to protect the lobster, but right after the lobster molts, the exoskeleton is soft, making them particularly vulnerable to other sea creatures that eat them as prey. Another interesting thing about lobsters is that their teeth are actually in their stomachs. Inside its stomach, a lobster has 3 teeth that actually grind up the food it eats. This is known as the gastric mill. Everyone knows that Maine is famous for its lobster. What you might not know is that 1/4 of America's blueberry crop comes from right here as well. Today, we'll be visiting with Libby and Sons in Limerick, Maine, to learn more about this healthy and versatile blue fruit. Another food staple Maine is known for is the potato. Aroostook County in Maine, a county larger than Connecticut and Rhode Island combined, is responsible for 90% of Maine's potato production. In addition to lobster, blueberries, and potatoes, Maine also produces poultry, eggs, dairy products, cattle, and even apples. We can't wait to sink our teeth into a true taste of Maine. So we're headed to the iconic Maine Diner in Wells, Maine, to cook up some traditional Maine foods. The Maine Diner we're seeing today first opened its doors in 1983, and the family-owned business has now served 6 million customers and counting. But the original diner on this spot opened 30 years earlier by a man named Louis Toton, a diner owner from Boston, who retired by opening another diner right here. Louis, who loved gardening as much as running a restaurant, planted and grew a beautiful garden out back. Today, the half-acre restaurant garden is the source for some seasonal vegetables served here that include broccoli, green peppers, zucchini, asparagus, carrots, summer squash, cucumbers, green and yellow beans, tomatoes, eggplant, beets, and butternut squash. We're super excited to be here with Mr. Henry, the owner of the Maine Diner, to learn more about the diner. Hi, Mr. Henry. Can you tell us about the history of the diner, please?
Sure, I'll tell you a little bit about the history. Two brothers and I started the diner in 1983, which is about 32 years ago. The first day that we opened, we did 40 people. And then the second day, we did 80. So we were pretty thrilled that that happened all in 2 days. And now we do over 100 meals an hour when we're busy.
That's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people. We do about anywhere between 1,200 and 1,500 people a day.
You must be very busy.
We are busy. We have, during the summer and fall, we have waiting lines all 3 meals.
What kind of local Maine specialties do you have here?
Well, we have blueberries, of course, which is a Maine staple, and maple syrup. And of course, the main industry is lobsters.
Can you show us how to make lobster pie, please?
Yes, I will show you. First of all, the ingredients are, we have fresh picked lobster meat, and we have Ritz crackers with butter. And what I'm going to do now is just throw this in, cook this with the melted butter and margarine. The reason why we use both is because the tops tend to burn with just butter. So we just throw this in. Now that the butter's melted, I'm going to pour the crumbs in there and mix it up, okay?
Okay.
Once the butter's all melted, we just stir it up until it's all mixed together. The finished product we have for you. here and here, and this is the lobster. So first of all, we have to put some melted butter in here, about a ½ ounce, just to keep it so that it doesn't burn and it helps the lobster to cook it from underneath, okay? Here's one. There you go, thank you. And here's the other one. So the next step, as you know, is put in the lobster, and that's fresh picked. So it's it has tail, knuckle, claw, which is the 3 main parts of the lobster. The next step, just put the crumbs on.
Very slowly.
Just be careful, yeah.
It's very warm.
It is warm, you're right. They just gave me some warm crumbs now. We're gonna get the finished product. It's gonna come right out of the oven right now. I'm gonna bring this back, okay?
Okay.
And I'll be right back. This is what our lobster pie looks like when we're done. And we always serve it with a garnish, with a lemon, and also with some more drawn butter. So if you girls want to just open that up and see what it's like.
Sure. This is really good. It's really good.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
Mr. Williams is now going to teach us about the Maine Diner seafood chowder.
All right, first we're gonna start with salt pork and onion. And what we're gonna do there is we're gonna bring it over here.
How long do you cook it for?
Maybe like 3-4 minutes until it's you get a nice golden brown on it. Okay, so while the salt pork is cooking, we're gonna add our base, which consists of butter, flour, potatoes, paprika, a little bit of white pepper, some chopped clams, and some salt pork also. We use this for flavoring. So you guys wanna put this in?
Sure. Here, can you hold it? Sure. I think that's it. What's next?
Good. I'm just gonna go check the salt pork again, make sure it's not burning. So the salt pork's ready, so I'm gonna add the onions. And that's gonna take a few minutes as well, so meantime we can add the steamers.
Okay, what is these?
Like sort of like clams. So when you open up one of these, that's what's inside of it.
Wow.
Go ahead and throw those in.
What do we add next?
Next you can add your lobster. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna go check on the salt pork.
Is it almost done?
Pretty good.
Looks really
So
good.
I'm gonna bring that over, and I'll add this because it's really, really hot. So you want to watch out, and then we just add that in there like so. So from there, now we can add the shrimp.
These are really small shrimp. What kind are these?
Those are called baby shrimp.
Aw, so cute.
And then we have our scallops.
Delaney really loves scallops. I know, I love them.
Next, we have our seafood base. This is cooked off reduced seafood. And again, that adds flavor. Next, we are gonna spoon it into this vein.
Do you ever use fresh clams when they're in season?
Absolutely, always.
Where did this recipe come from?
This is a very old Maine Diner recipe that was created by one of the former owners. And now we are gonna add heavy cream.
How much?
The whole quart. We are gonna add a ½ gallon of milk.
Oh, okay.
And that should be good right there. And that is the seafood chowder.
Wow, do we heat it up? Or
Yep, we're gonna bring it over here. And we're gonna put it in a double boiler. Turn the burner on. That takes about 20 to 30 minutes.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah, very quick. Okay, so now the chowder is cooked for 30 minutes. And we'll bring it over. I'm just gonna give it a quick stir.
That looks really good.
Girls wanna try some?
Sure.
All right.
This looks really good.
Delaney. And be careful, it's really hot.
That's really good. Thank you so much for showing us how to make this delicious soup.
No, you're very welcome. Thank you for coming. % of all blueberries grown in America are grown in Maine.
We're here in the town of Limerick at Libby and Sons U-Picks with Aaron and Libby to learn more about blueberries. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, thanks for coming, girls. Glad you came to our farm.
Why do blueberries grow so well in Maine?
Blueberries have adapted well to Maine's naturally acidic and low fertile soils and challenging winters.
Were blueberries originally grown in the U.S. or were they brought here?
They are native to North America. In fact, they're one of 3 berries that are native to North America, the cranberry and Concord grape as well. Native Americans used to use them for all different sorts of things. They actually made a preserve out of it. We're usually crushing up the blueberries, making a powder out of it.
Why are blueberries blue?
It's a pigment inside, and it's actually a nutrient that's very beneficial to you, and it makes the color more of a blue color.
When is blueberry season?
Here, our picking season will go from early July to mid of October.
How do you know when blueberries are ready to be picked?
Well, I mostly go by the color of the blueberries when it's nice and blue, nice and big and plump.
Are these the blueberry bushes?
Yes, these are high bush blueberry plants. You can get low bush blueberry plants, which will be about 18 inches off the ground, and these high bush blueberry plants, when fully mature, will grow 4 to 6 feet.
What kind are these?
These right here are blue crop variety. It's one of the 12 varieties that we have.
How many blueberries are on each bush?
You can get about, depending on the variety, but 15 to 25 pounds per plant.
Are there blueberries on these plants right now?
Well, the early stages of them, actually. As you can see the plant here, see the flowers? These will get pollinated, and you see these little green here? These are actually what is going to become the blueberries. So after this blossom here gets pollinated, it'll drop off, and this is the early starts of the blueberries. In a few weeks, they'll turn into those nice big plump blue ones.
Bumblebees are the best pollinators for blueberry bushes because they buzz pollinate. That means that their vibration causes pollen from deep inside the blueberry bloom to release. Also, bumblebees like to buzz around in cold, wet weather, unlike the honeybee.
The blueberry plant, unlike some other fruits, actually has many different stages. So that's why you see the blossoms here. You see ones that are larger than others. So a blueberry plant like this will actually get picked about 10 times, and it'll keep producing, and keep picking them off one at a time. Well, here we actually do a pick your own, so customers and families just like yourselves who come here, enjoy for a few hours of fun, and go home with great blueberries to share.
Are there different types of blueberries?
Yes, here on our farm we have 12 varieties of blueberries, but overall there's about 50 different varieties of high bush blueberries.
Do the different types taste differently?
A little bit, yes. Some will be very sweet, and some will be sweet with a tang.
What kinds of things can people make with their blueberries when they take them home?
Wow, blueberries are very versatile. You can use them for your breakfast or snacks, and you can make entrees with it, chicken or fish and meats. And of course, you get all your different desserts, but you also have salsas and different sauces, and like I said, smoothies and blenders, and lots of different things. And you're adding that nutrients of the blueberry in every single recipe.
Wow, that sounds really good. What's your favorite recipe with blueberries?
Oh, I'm kind of traditional. I like the blueberry pie, fresh homemade blueberry pie.
Can you freeze blueberries to keep them longer?
Yes, actually, blueberries are one of the best freezers of all the berries. Just make sure you don't wash them before you freeze them.
Could you show us some blueberries, please, Mr. Aaron?
Yes, here's a box of fresh picked blueberries.
They're so pretty. What's the little white stuff on the end?
That's actually the bloom, and that's the natural waxy substance that the plant produces to help keep a shelf life to it.
The thin white coating that you see on blueberries and other fruit seals in the freshness and helps keep in the fruit's moisture. The bloom is a sign of freshness since it fades with time and handling. But it's still wise to wash produce thoroughly before eating.
And if you notice, the star on here,
Where does the star come from?
well, that's the end of the stem where the stem connects to the vine. And actually, the Native Americans used to call these star berries because of that star shape.
Can we try one?
You sure can.
These are really good. These are really good.
Good for you, too.
Why are they good for you?
Well, blueberries are superfood with packed full antioxidants that are great for your brain, for your eyes, for your immune system, and they have cancer fighters in them as well.
Now that we've learned about blueberries, we're ready to use them with Mrs. Bonzer and Maine Diner's famous blueberry pie recipe.
So we start off with the fresh blueberries, and we actually have 6 cups for 1 pie. Then if you want to add sugar, so for 1 pie we use 2/3 cup of sugar. and then a tablespoon of lemon juice.
That's a really good flavor to add to blueberries.
It enhances the blueberry flavor. And then a half of a teaspoon of cinnamon.
Cinnamon actually comes from the bark of the cinnamon tree. The bark is ground to a fine powder like this one.
And then all we do is we kind of mix that up a little bit. You guys want to do that? And then what we end up doing is we cook that down into a compote. So it kind of has the consistency of like a jam almost. So we're going to put that into a pot and cook it for a little bit. Do you want to scrape that right into the pot? Perfect. All right, so then we bring it right over here and we start.
Why do you cook it?
We cook it so that way the juices will come out of the blueberries and we can add a little bit of cornstarch, which will help to thicken it. So that way when the blueberry pie is cooked, when you cut it, it doesn't just seep right out like a river.
Oh, that's smart. It's really smart. How long does it cook?
It cooks for about 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay. How many pies do you bake every day?
In our busiest season for blueberry pies, I actually bake about 2 dozen per day.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Is that your most popular pie?
It is, yes. We have lots of people that come specifically for our blueberry pie. So while the blueberries are cooking, we can actually put the crust into the pie plate. And how to do that, I'll show you a real easy way to get it into the pie plate. I've already got the crust prepared. Okay. So you fold it in half, and then you fold it in half again so that you can bring this right over, and then if you unfold it, it'll be perfectly placed in the pie plate.
Oh, that's really clever.
And then you just want to push it down into the pie plate.
Do the ends go into there too?
We actually fold over the ends so that there are some people that really enjoy a lot of crust as part of the treat of the pie. So yeah, if you actually kind of go like this and push it right into the corner.
And then fold these down?
Yeah. Then we fill it up with blueberries, which I actually already have some finished here. And we can scoop this right in.
That looks really good. That smells really good. Okay.
Yeah, blueberries are pretty yummy. I like them.
They are.
Then we do the same thing with this top crust. So, and actually what we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna fold this under, just like this.
All the crust?
Yeah, so that kind of creates a big lip around the pie plate. And then we can fold this one again. So you fold it in half and then fold it in half again. And put the corner of it right in the middle.
Right there?
Yep. And then unfold it. Perfect. Very nice.
And then what do we do?
Then we tuck this one under the one that's already in there.
Okay.
Okay.
This is gonna have a lot of crust. It's gonna be
Yes,
really good.
and this way, doing it this way keeps any juices from coming out while it's cooking.
Oh,
Because
okay.
the juices are gonna bubble up.
How long does it have to bake?
It has to bake for 26 minutes. I bake it at 425 for 16 minutes, and then 10 minutes more at 325.
Okay. Wow, we can't wait to taste it.
And then what you do is you just kind of go like this, and you cut slits. I have one that's finished. And this is what comes out. It's finished.
Oh, that looks really good.
So the slits let the steam out so that you don't get any bubbling over. And we folded this underneath so that way nothing comes out of the edge.
It looks so pretty.
Thank you. Would you like to taste it?
Sure.
Okay. So we'll cut this.
It's really good. It
I
does.
hope that you like it.
Yeah, that looks really good. It looks so pretty. Let's try it.
Okay.
This is really good. Really good.
I'm glad you like it.
We want to give a huge thank you to the Maine Diner for sharing some of their great tasting recipes with us. We'd also like to thank the Portland Headlight for providing an iconic historical location through which we could learn about Maine. And thanks to Mr. Aaron Libby for giving us so much great information on Maine's true blue fruit, the blueberry. We have really enjoyed learning about Maine's beauty, history, and signature foods because with fresh ingredients like lobster and wild blueberries always on hand, Maine isn't just a great place to visit, it's twice as good! For more information about the dishes prepared on today's show, including a listing of ingredients and the recipes, please visit us at twiceasgoodshow.com.
Twice as Good with Hadley and Delaney is brought to you by Mila. Immer besser, forever better. Mila. And by Cuties. Cute you can eat. Cuties. And by Kitchen Works. Wherever we go, that's where the party's at. Kitchen Works.